Picture this, there are two houses. The first house is a whole mess. The entire family is struggling. Sewage pipes are broken. They're barely eating well. Electricity is not working. Rats are running up and down. Just know that the house is an absolute mess. The compound is even dirty, not just because they are, not handling things well, but also because the neighbor, now the second house neighbor, literally throws dirt into their compound. And for some reason, they never really complain. Now, the second house, on the other hand, is wonderful, clean, put together, constant lights, no rats running up and down. It's where you would like to live. Now, the neighbor, you know, is living la vida loca, but they don't necessarily, have enough hands to take care of that house. And you probably spot it and you knock on your neighbor's door and they say, okay, do you know what? If you meet up to some certain criteria, you can come and live with us. And living with us does not guarantee that you are a family member. Matter of fact, you will probably never be a family member. You are probably going to always be reminded that you're not necessarily from the house of the clean. And once you find your way in, they put you to work, you are cleaning their house and you are satisfied. As far as they are feeding you, clothing you, you have a roof, like your roof is not leaking and all that. You're good. You're eating. You're surviving, basically. As far as you can survive well, you decide to go. So the question here is, do you think the person that decides to go should go and leave everything behind because they found a comfortable place to stay? Note, they might actually also be throwing garbage into their own house compound, or like their family house, and be working for their neighbor. Now, they don't really care how their neighbor is treating them as far as they are eating and being fed. Would you advise that person to see themselves really raising kids there, or spending time there, knowing that they can never really say that they are from there, but they want to identify with that space? Or would you say the person should stay in the rat infested house, struggling because it is family? Now, like I said, there's no right answer. I'm sure you people by now you've listened to me and you clearly, for some people, have seen that I'm probably talking about Japa. Let's talk about it. We need to talk about it. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and turn on your post notifications so that you can get more and more of my videos every week. So now, Japa is a very popular slang in Nigeria. It means like to escape, to run away, basically to try and get away from a difficult situation. Can we really be upset with people who have decided to make this choice of Japaing to escape their situation? I mean, they're coming from a house that is not working. For me personally, people that decide to leave Nigeria in specific because they're looking for greener pastures or for a better life, I don't see any harm in that. It's nothing wrong in making decisions to try and, create a space, safe space for your family to thrive, or for you yourself to even thrive. You probably have a gift, a talent, things that you want to do that this country is holding you back on. The government is not working, things are not working, the system is polluted, is corrupted, and it's affecting daily life. Standard of living is at its all-time low right now. Japa has been something that has been occurring for years. It's not a new term, it's not a new topic, it's a topic that has people on chokehold. Although it seems like Japa has become the solution for most people. And this is why I want to talk about it, because really, can we really say Japa is a solution? Personally speaking, I feel like Japa is an escape. You can say it's an escape, but not necessarily a solution. It's an avoidance, a dodge. And if some people decide that Japa is the solution, then what happens to the people that can't afford this solution? That's their business, right? I don't have an issue with someone finding their way in life and realizing that the path they would probably need to take requires them to leave. And then if they have the means to do so, that's fine. Nigeria is made of the people. It's not necessarily just the soil. The people make what Nigeria is. We cannot say Japa is a solution for Nigeria. Japa is a solution for individuals. So this conversation that I'm trying to have has a lot to do with the nation and not people in specific. So the nation in itself is currently going through, or has been going through for the longest, through the situation of individual solutions. And these individual solutions is creating a greater problem for the nation itself. How? Brain drain. I've been hearing brain drain since I was in secondary school. the people that can actually effectively do something for us in this country are no longer here or are leaving on the daily, have plans to leave eventually. You see doctors, you see lawyers, you see engineers, intelligent inventors leaving the country. Why? Not because they hate Nigeria, but because the situation of the country is so unconducive. The government has made it too difficult for people to thrive, hence why they leave. So when I say Japa is a solution for people, for individuals, you see what I mean, but it is not a solution for the nation. Now, I'm sure by now, if you're a Nigerian, you've heard of different arguments. Some people have the argument that the government is to blame. The country is where it is at because the government is not doing what they're supposed to do. And there are some people that are arguing that the entire country is to blame. The average Nigerian is corrupt. If they remove the current president, if they remove the current vice president, from power and they put you, would you do better? To be fair, I can see the sense in both. Because really, the government is made up of the people. So when someone comes to have that argument with me or conversation with me that the government is not solely to blame for where we are at as a country and it is the average Nigerian that is to blame, I understand because, okay, fine, it is Nigerians that were brought out to lead that makes up the government. But at the same time, it's difficult to agree fully with that point because there is no country that does not have corruption. I hope you know. There is nowhere on earth that is like a utopia, that is perfect. The difference between this situation and probably a developed country is a matter of the right people in the right places. So they don't necessarily even have to be the entire population being not corrupt. It's just a matter of having the right people be put in the right place. So for the longest time, Japa has been seen as an escape and is a conversation people keep having. But I want to talk about it in 2025 because it feels like Japa has started shifting from just an escape. Because the truth is, many people that would like to escape do not necessarily have the means to. So I saw this tweet by someone that got me thinking, hence why I would like to address this particular point. Now he says, Japa has become more of an expression of classism than the desire for better things. So many people who are doing very well here still Japa, not out of necessity, but out of peer pressure, and then become at a loss of ideas about what to do with their lives over there. Not everyone needs to japa. Some people just want to visit and return to enjoy life here and don't and will never fancy the idea of japa. They will also be contented and satisfied. Different realities for different people. Now, this is a reality that we actually need to admit that japa is more like a trend for some people because the people that can conveniently afford it just do it as if it's nothing. Have we seen the value of our currency to be able to just stand up and just relocate or just leave? We're not even talking about taking trips or short trips or being sponsored or scholarships. I'm talking about two people having a conversation and they say, oh, what's your plan? First person is talking about how they need to get this job. They're applying to this place. They hope to be, finished with this master's and hopefully be. And then the next person is, so what's your plan? I got japa. Nothing, no. No plan on how to japa, no plan on after japaing. The plan is japa. To where? For what? Why? Just little things. And sometimes this mentality of believing that as far as I japa, as far as I am on this trend that is happening, things are gonna work out. Not every time. For a lot of people, not every time. It doesn't always happen like that. And it's I wouldn't say upsetting, it's just sad to me because most of the time, the people we will need here, their resources, their time, their intentionality with the planning and everything we need here have decided to leave not because of necessity, not because of, the desperation, just because I can and it's the trend. And for some reason, it's a glorified trend. Matter of fact, you see people that have left and not want to come back, even though life is unbearable there because of what people will say here. It now makes me feel like, are we really serious? Nigerians, are we actually serious people? Because someone is saying, I'm dying here, I need to leave. And then you are leaving, you are dying there, but you don't want to come back because you don't want people to talk. I don't blame some people. I actually blame majority of Nigerians that glorify it. You glorified it so much so that it looks crazy for you to say you are going to come back. Coming back is insane. Why are you coming back? They go tell you, guy, wetin you dey do here? So number one, we cannot deny the fact that the country can do way better, and we are under a government that is just making life extremely difficult for the average Nigerian, and a government that really doesn't care that we're losing a lot of bright minds. A government that doesn't care if another country, in fact, will come and collect people by themselves from here. Some people don't even struggle to go out there. They just spot somebody amazing and they will collect that person to go and work. You are the head of the house. So even though the government is made up of the people, is coming from the people, your responsibility is undeniable. The choices you make for the people is the major thing that affects the entire house. So you can't say, the youth are lazy, they are not trying. This one, that one. It's not necessarily that. It's you've been given that responsibility. So basically, going back to the argument of it is the government at fault, no, it is the people at fault. Like I said from the beginning, I believe that there's truth in both. The issue to me is the mentality of the people. There's a culture that we have as Nigerians that is very destructive. We have a culture that is self-serving and is ready to do anything or cut any means they can cut to make sure that they get what they need. The level of comfort, the level of show off. There's the need to show off regardless of how, the success was gotten. There's this hunger to make sure that I am better than my neighbor, or I can prove that I have more, or I have good things regardless of however I came. From the grassroots of the development of an average Nigerian, it is infused in the mentality of Nigerian that to cut corners is okay as far as you are getting what you want. It doesn't matter what you do, but getting it is the most important thing. From the very start, you see people that are cheating and are taught to cheat. Parents that are paying teachers. You see schools that are paying off whole certification boards just to make sure that the school stays on top. Their students don't know anything. It does not matter. All they want is that we're able to pay these people, they give us the result they want, or at the very, very least, pay off individuators that come from these certification boards to come into classes and allow the students to cheat, if not even call out the answers for them. Now, don't come and act brand new because I have seen these things with my own eyes. This is what the children are being taught from a very early age. I don't need to know it. I don't need to learn. I don't need to improve myself. I don't need to mature. I just need to make sure I get that A. Once I get that A, I'm able to impress everybody. My mommy and daddy can be dancing up and down that, oh, see what my child got to. It doesn't matter whether I know it or not, as far as I get it. Success is good, but succeeding by any means is very dangerous for not just the individual, but for entire groups and the entire nation. And that is what we've been taught. So you want to tell me that children that have been taught all these things will end up inside government offices, will end up inside NGOs, end up, inside workspaces that would influence the whole nation, and they will not cut corners. They won't they will not be self-seeking. They will not look for how to make sure, it's about me first. It doesn't matter what happened to people around me. It doesn't matter whether I am literally stealing the prize from someone that deserves it. As far as I get to the top, I will do anything. And the worst part is the arrogance behind it. And it's not even helpful that our personality as Africans, Nigerians have a personality that is very, in a way, go-getting and daring and audacious. We have a very audacious personality. The fact that Nigerians have a very audacious, very proud, very daring personality is an amazing thing. But the downside in regards and in relation to this situation of cutting corners is that with our chest, they do them. So, as a matter of fact, I remember thinking about it. Whenever if you should say if you should say you're not cheating, you look like an idiot. If you should see someone to scam and you don't, if someone should send you money by mistake and you send it back, the average Nigerian will see as an idiot. You get like, guy, alpha. That's the mentality. Adding to that, we also have a personality that thinks everything is funny. All these personalities are wonderful things, but if we could take them and associate them or build them in a way that would benefit the people and benefit the country, awesome. But the fact remains that the negative part of the entire thing is really taking control of our personality. Our personality is fueling rubbish. Personally speaking, I believe there is nothing wrong with getting information from a place that has done well. which brings me to a country like Singapore. I would love if Nigerians can read about that a bit and see that, look, Singapore got their independence officially in 1965. We got ours in 1960. I'm bringing up somewhere like Singapore because they were in a similar situation of being colonized. They got their independence around the same time that we got our independence, but their leaders got it right from the beginning because they also faced things like difficult to me, even harder situations like natural resources. They barely had that. They had high unemployment. They had so many factors that would give them an excuse to say that the country can't work as one. But for at the forefront, the people that took charge made sure that they instilled a value that they all share. There's a goal that they all have. That at the this our country, we need to make it work. So what is it that we're going to look at? Let's just look at America, for instance. Everybody in America has been indoctrinated to believe this is a great nation and our desire and our pursuit is freedom. What is Nigeria's value? What do all of us, regardless of our culture, regardless of our religion, what do all of us really look at in Nigeria that we say we value? As a country, we really don't have a national goal. We don't have something that all of us are working towards. We want a better Nigeria. How? From what? What is the blueprint? What are we going to do? What are we going to say? Okay, this is the first thing we're going to all work towards. To me, I genuinely believe it should be our education system. Mindsets. People should be literate. There are too many illiterates. Our history has been wiped out of schools. Our desire for knowledge has been dampened. We're just not interested in knowing. And honestly, it's backfiring. We need to come together and agree that we need a joining factor. There needs to be something that will make Nigerians feel like this is worth working towards, this is worth fighting for. Because at this point, really, it's a question of, do we really value our country? It can make someone, an average Nigerian like me, to ask, do we believe this country is ever going to work at any point? With the way people are believing that, living is the solution. If everybody leaves, at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is that Nigeria needs a change in mindsets, no matter where we find ourselves. Because a lot of times people would leave, not just physically, but they would leave completely, wholeheartedly. They have disassociated, they have abandoned, and they have decided to pledge allegiance to somewhere else. This needs to change. Personally, I'm going to say this. I am hoping a lot of Nigerians are not discouraged after the last election, because I know of people that flew in. I know of people that didn't, that, paused their Japa plans just to make sure they were part of making sure, we're part of the election. We're part of voting. We want to be able to put who we want, but Nigeria. And I just want to some extent plead that we don't give up, like, because I still know that we love our country. There's no place like home. So if we can leave our neighbor's house and come and clean our house, everything we've learned from our neighbor's house, how they do their inverter, how they keep rats out, how they've cleaned their plumbing, if we come and implement it here, there's no place like home. I'd love to see you guys' thoughts in the comment section.